this is getting so frustrating. How much more can we take? We're erupting like volcanoes, blowing ashes in our face. We need change. Like a baby, you hear the crying. We need change. Like a flat that's on your tire. Baby, we just need some air, a little bit of space, some time to think it over. Maybe that can help erase all the pain we've made. Let us change this hate, oh. Take a moment, think about it. Why we always fighting? Man, we be so violent. Man and woman riot, how did we get started? Most of us don't even know. No. Take a moment, think about it. Why we always fighting? Man, we be so violent. Man and woman riot, how did we get started? Most of us don't even know. Don't even know.
It's time to mend this gap and get our love lives back. Most of us have come from a place of hurt and pain, but that's not the only way. There's still a chance to regain the trust we once had, a must. Let's pick up our hearts and grow onto a happily ever after we go.
Take a moment, think about it. Why we always fight? Man, we be so violent. Man and woman riot, how did we get started? Most of us don't even know. Take a moment, think about it. Why we always fight? Man, we be so violent. Man and woman riot, how did we get started? Most of us don't even know. Don't even know.
Welcome back to Love and Balance Talk Sessions. I am Nasika Shama. Along with me is my wife, Maisha Nasika Amuna. We have Mora Dawood Akeem, and we have Mora Khalilia.
Shalom.
Welcome back. Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
How y'all doing?
Shalom, okay. Manito. How y'all feeling?
Feeling good, man. It's good to be back. It's good to see what you all have for the people, what we all have for the people in regards to these different topics that's pertaining to our community. Today is going to be a little different, though. The questions are going to be a little broader, so I'm going to want you all to just, whatever the first thing that pop in your mind pertaining to the questions, just go ahead with it. Before we get started, you all, we're going to go ahead and open really quickly with a brief prayer. You know, this platform, Love and Balance Talk Sessions, we are all, I would say, Torah based, right? So we deal with the eternal source, the creator of the unknown and the known. So we want to, when we come up through with these topics and trying to bring things together for our people, change their thought process to help provoke thought and change in their lives, we need to invoke that which is greater than us, right? And that's the Most High. So just give us about 30 seconds or so. Let's go ahead and open up real quick. I'm gonna bring up a quick prayer. Here we go. Orenu abinu makinu. Ani mebekesha na bola kese shelka. Salak lanu akoto mashahi pezitu khani wanafshi. Our Father, our King, our Creator, I ask that we approach your throne. Please forgive us for any uncleanness, whether it's spiritual, physical, mental. We thank you for another day of life. We thank you for looking over us on our way, going places and coming back, keeping our families safe, keeping those that's tuning in to family safe. We ask that you continue to be amongst us, send your spirit amongst us so that we can follow your instructions properly and we can be the people that you want us to be. We ask all these things in your great name. Halu et Hamakoaniski, Halu et Hakoakaniski, Halu et Hamalek Ha'elion. Praise the eternal source, praise the eternal power, praise the supreme king. All right. I'm gonna have more Dawood start praying for us coming in, man. You know, because he's a warrior. Anywho. Shalom, everybody. Shalom. Let's get it started. You all probably got things to do today, but we want to bring this out. So, is the grass greener on the other side? We heard this phrase. There's so many different ways you could go with it, right? So that's why I got the questions the way I have it, because I want to hear all the ways y'all gonna go with it. And those that's tuning in, leave your comments in the section. Tell us what these questions put your mind frame in it. But make sure when we give this our answers, it's a solution for our people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't knock the other platforms. I like the conversations that us as so-called Black people are having, right? But we have to come together with solutions that's going to help us thrive and get better instead of just coming back and forth at one another. What was y'all thoughts on this topic?
That there are so many different, as you said, there are so many different fields that we can speak on, whether that's in relationships, whether that's in business, whether that's in location, whether that's in paradigm or the way that you think. Like it's so many different dichotomies that can be discussed on this.
That man said dichotomies. He trying to show his. He trying to bring out his intellect for the people. Dichotomies. Okay. What about you, Moraka? What was your thought on it?
I think he said it all. I'm ready to dive in.
All right. Is T, you ready to dive in too? All right. They always leave us with being the ones that, let's get to it. Let's see who we got before we get started. Okay. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, everyone. Shalom, those that's here. Here we go. See, we was just waiting no more, Zakaria. We was just waiting.
Hey.
Shalom. Luckily, guys, I had some technical difficulties, but I'm here. We got it.
No worries. No worries. Are you wanting us to get started too? The other Nashim here was like, yo, let's just get to it.
Yeah, let's get right on into it. What else was we gonna do?
All right, here we go. So the topic is the grass greener on the other side. It looked like I'm delaying. It must be so much. Here we go. Let's see if y'all can see this. First topic of the day, of the evening, is: does having endurance in a relationship, associate relationship, friendship, or marriage mean remaining even if the responsibilities required to hold that position in your life aren't being met? Does having endurance in a relationship mean remaining even if the responsibilities required to hold that position in your life aren't being met, or you feel they aren't being met? I'm gonna let that stay right there so y'all could just, if y'all have any questions for me to elaborate more on the question, let me know. But I'm gonna keep it there for y'all. Let me mute myself.
Go ahead, y'all. Segola, Zakaria, y'all good? Amuna just came off screen, like she don't even want to talk. She just took her camera completely off. Okay, well, hallelujah. Yes. Having to endure means to go through trials and tribulations, right? So, a couple thoughts that this question makes me bring to mind is: one, how long are you enduring to where those responsibilities, as you call them, aren't being met? And is it every responsibility that you're asking them to meet that's not being met, or is it just certain areas within the broader scope of things that you're like, okay, well, you're lacking here, but you holding me down right here, and so on and so forth? You're talking about friends, you're talking about marriages, you're talking about, so I'll yield for somebody else on the panel, but I would like you to kind of, tap in on those type of nuances, if you may.
Okay. Anyone else? Does having endurance in a relationship equate to or mean remaining, even if the responsibilities required to hold that position in your life aren't being met. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
It
Goodness
can't be
gracious.
stumping everybody.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's do this. While y'all letting it marinate, I'm going to do something. I'm going to bring up a video. I'm gonna let it marinate a little bit, because I think this is important. And you tackled a little bit of it too, Mordaud, when you had said, what, like, is it everything or is it certain things? How great are those things? How much does that, matter or whatnot, right? So let me bring this out. Let me bring this up. Man, my signal, I don't know what's going on. Let me bring it up, and I want to share this screen. Give me a second. Appreciate those that's tuning in right now. Please, if you have not yet did so, make sure that you subscribe to this channel, like and share. I'm telling you, each week it gets better with these topics. Here we go. Let's share the screen and let's let this individual bring out their thoughts. And I want to see what y'all say about it. Here we go. Is this it? This might be it. My signal is slowing here we go. Press share. Let me know if y'all see this. Y'all see it?
Okay.
All right, cool. I'm about to go ahead and press play. Y'all gotta forgive me. This signal is crazy. Bringing it up right now. Oh, so I'm pressing the wrong thing. My bad. Here you go.
I just ran 24 freaking hours.
That is not it. That is not it. Let's press the signal, man. All right.
Why are you trying to get it? Ms. Gabby put in chat. I think it depends on the severity of the needs requirements that's not being met, and that to me definitely is a key component to whether or not you should be trying to stay or not. You found it? Okay.
I found it, man. Forgive me. It's today. I don't know what's happening with this signal, man. I have no idea what's happening. Here we go. Y'all ready? Don't tell me it's going to another thing once again. All right. I'm gonna have to come back to this.
I just ran 20.
I'm gonna have to come back. Go ahead. I don't. Go ahead, man.
No. It's just so I believe based on the topic that we're speaking of, is the grass greener on the other side? I think that people use this particular question as an excuse to try to go explore other, fields of grass in a sense. Like, okay, well, my needs aren't being met over here, and it could be the most minute thing that's not being met, and then you are willing to jump ship. And I think that is a major problem within our community, not having the ability to endure. And that's possibly because we live in a microwave society in this age of social media, where everything is being shown as so spectacular and so grand. It's tempting a lot of people right out of their position.
Okay, so I guess I will go. So I feel this question is so loaded because there are so many different dynamics and so many different directions that you could go and like expound upon. But I guess on the basis of what the theme of this particular session is about, is the grass greener? The grass is greener where you water it. So when you put forth the effort in order to make something become something, then the grass is going to be greener if you put forth effort. So I guess having endurance does mean remaining, but again, it would depend on the severity. It would depend on what is lacking. what the responsibilities are that are required to hold that position. But we are also, called to bear the burdens of one another. So I've heard a lot of people, when I've spoken to elders and people that have been in union for a very long time, say, there are days where my significant other is not operating at their fullest, at their potential, and I do have to pick up their slack. But that's not a consistent thing. So I think if the responsibilities are not being met consistently, then that causes a very big issue, because then it causes the other person to literally not be able to then hold their rightful position, because the Most High has set up this order. There's supposed to be two people. There's supposed to be weights carried in a certain manner for both individuals. And if one individual is constantly carrying their weight and then also the weight of the other individual, it becomes very imbalanced, and it becomes very, I hate to use this word because the whole world is like aggy about it, but it becomes very toxic. It becomes very just not beneficial to any parties. So I do think, to an extent, yes, endurance does mean remaining. It means, forgiving constantly. It means communicating when you don't want to communicate. It means, picking up the slack in areas in which the other person may be falling short. But I do also think in that case, there needs to be fruit being borne witness to the other person attempting to get back on track or attempting to rectify the issue, and not simply just giving all the burdens to one person. I yield.
Okay. I like that. I like that. I like that answer. And you didn't really pinpoint exactly if it was marriage, associate, friend. It was more generalized from what I could grasp, because the signal today, I don't know what's happening. But appreciate that. Anyone else?
Boy, y'all are something else. Y'all are.
This is a tough one today. It's like, oh, so many different ways.
Hey, pick a way. Pick a direction you want to go. Pick a direction you want to go in, and go in that direction. I know a lot of people are dealing with relationship issues, right? So relationship issues is important to really pinpoint. But for those that's in the audience right now, tell us what direction you want to go with it. What's on your mind? What are you thinking with this question? All right.
And if I could say something real quick, the more serious the covenant is, the more endurance that you would have to have. And what I mean by that is, when you're dealing with associates or friends, or as you would call them, neighbors, that's somewhat what they would be. You don't really need it wouldn't be the level of endurance as you would have in a marriage. A marriage is supposed to be for life. So in that particular relationship and covenantal agreement, you would be sticking it out for the long haul. So the trials and tribulations, the ups and downs, the cycle that life goes through, you would be, hopefully, before you took that vow, you would have already understood that you would have to survive through the down seasons in order to go back to the up. But when it comes to a friend or an associate, these type of relationships, everybody isn't in your life forever. Even your children aren't in your life forever. So then how much endurance are you supposed to have? I would say that.
All right. Marakia, what you got for us?
I just knew you wasn't gonna let me just slide. But based on what everyone else was saying, I was kind of just sitting here trying to put all my thoughts together. Moira Daoud kind of broke it down with the different levels. I wouldn't necessarily say there isn't that much endurance in a friendship, only because if this is my sister or someone who I am creating like a family relationship with, because I called you my sister. So you're like family to me. There is still an endurance in that, or I really don't like that word because it makes it seem like it's a lot of work, but it's not a lot of work. Because in all of our relationships, we should be fostering them. We should be growing. We should be maturing. There's always going to be this give or take. Just for the last part where it says, even if the responsibilities required to hold that position in your life aren't being met, that also tells me there's an expectation. And that's a big problem that we have in a lot of our relationships. We create expectations where everyone doesn't know what the expectation is. So it looks like endurance because we're fighting with an expectation that you have that I never knew you had. So now we're at an ought because we both did not come to an agreement. It's just like with a marriage, which is why you have a ketubah. We all know what we're coming into this looking for. We both know what each other's expectations are. So we know how to, if I have to pick up your slack, I know what your slack is because I knew that coming in. So it really depends on that relationship and our understanding or expectation of that relationship.
Okay. So that's all about. You see, do you have anything?
Oh yeah, there's a little lag.
Mhm.
Can I be heard?
Yes, okay.
Does having endurance in a relationship mean remaining even if responsibilities required to hold a position in your life aren't being met? Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say I don't know, but this is a touchy question because there are a lot of variables to it. Um, I know a lot of times we've heard in counselings or in conversations, if the person isn't, if the person isn't putting their hands on you, then everything should be, you should be able to find some way to resolve it, or if there's no, physical harm and there's no mental abuse, then things should be able to be worked out. I don't know. I feel like Mordecai Yulia said, we don't put the expectations there. So if you go into a friendship, relationship, or whatever type of covenant, and you both haven't set aside things that are deal breakers, then these type of situations are up to the discretion of how the person feels. Like I said, that position in your life you feel, those positions you feel aren't being met, that's, I believe, solely up to how mature both of you are in the situation. And immature doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means that you aren't advancing that situation. So this one, I don't know. For me, it's touchy. It's I believe if you both have to desire, even if it's a friendship, because I've seen friendships, people do some crazy things in friendships, but I've seen people that are still friends today after going through a lot of things that many of us would have been like, nope, that's it. Even personally, as I have certain things in a friendship that are a no, that are okay. But like I say, it depends on the discretion of the person and the people that are around to help nurture that, if there are any people around to nurture it. So my question was not really precise. So,
Mm. Mm. How much love was in the relationship?
Yeah, I can't do anything.
I'm not sure if y'all can. Oh, well, yeah, we can hear. Not see, but yeah, that would be a question based off of what Nasika just stated. How some people would have left that relationship or friendship or brotherhood, sisterhood, based on some of the things that they heard took place within that particular relationship. I think that love and endurance are very much so correlated in the same direction, right? So if, for example, The Most High, just to take it biblical, and then we can go back to secular understanding. The Most High endured with Israel because of the covenant and the love that he had for Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But he kicked everybody out of Canaan who was in Canaan without a second thought. There wasn't any love. There wasn't a forefather or an ancestor of the Canaanites who the Most High had a relationship with and love with. So I would say the same thing typically for us. If there's no love, if there's no history to where I'm going to endure things that I wouldn't endure with other people because it's you, then I think that most people would leave situations alone. Is rougher when it's a marriage, but typically this happens in friendships, in relationships based on friendship and things like that all the time. People grow apart, and because there was no love to fuse the two together, they leave.
I think we lost a person.
Yeah, we most definitely lost. Let's see.
All right, he'll be back. Just having some technical difficulties over here, but he'll be right back.
Okay, cool.
Consider.
Okay, those in the chat, say by grace, Gabby and SJ, Yaiquab, shalom. Let us know what y'all think in terms of how much endurance do you have in your relationships. And you don't have to, specify no names, so we don't put y'all on blast on YouTube. But do you have more endurance with your marriages and your covenantal relationships, which a friendship could be well, you wouldn't have a covenant with a friend. It'd be more like a brother, like Jonathan and Dawid. So what kind of relationships are you more willing to endure nonsense in, and which ones are you not? I know some of y'all type slow, so we can wait on y'all. We can wait. It's perfectly fine. Maybe I gotta find them letters.
I can put the first question back on the screen if need be.
Okay. For them, and then if you have access to it, you probably could put the second question up there while the people in the chat. Yeah, Kane.
Yeah, we're ready for the second one.
Oh, you the host now, Coach. You gotta hold it down. We just was talking about holding it down.
Kane, y'all a little choppy, but I'll read it. What are some of the most important things that need to be checked within before even attempting to go without?
What are some of the most important things that need to be checked within before even attempting to go without? Okay. And while we all marinating on that, Gabby did put something in the chat if y'all want me to read that real quick. Okay. See, that's okay. That's Seeker. You gonna read it though? Because sometimes I be having a hard time reading.
Kane, I can read it. Says, honestly, I have a no nonsense policy, LOL. But if I had to endure, it would be if I was married. Again, depending on the severity.
Did you just say depending on the severity of the marriage? Like, was it a Vegas marriage, or did we know each other prior to the marriage? What you mean by severity on this point?
Any type of abuse is a deal breaker. Big no for me.
Absolutely.
There goes the level of severity right there for you.
Okay. No, I was talking about the severity. She said, if I was, depending on the severity of what's going on, not the severity of the marriage. Okay. I told you.
Yeah.
Punctuation be messing me up.
Right, did you want to elaborate a little bit on this question, Amore? Not if he just disappeared.
That's what I'm like. I don't know.
Into the wall.
Oh no, I got you.
Disappeared.
Okay. With the background.
No, it's all good. Okay, so what are some of the most important things that need to be checked within before even attempting to go without? So what I understand from this question is, what is the self work that you are that you need to do that's vital before you can even go out and deal with other people. I believe, or it could go a couple ways. So I'll just deal with that one for right now. Your desires.
Mhm.
You most definitely need to check your desires. So what is it that you want? And to be honest with yourself about what it is that you want. Um, Especially in this society and even getting into this walk, a lot of people play themselves and not truly express what it is that they are desiring and what it is that they require, right? So those are two things. So I guess honesty would also be something that you need to check within yourself. Are you able to be honest with yourself? Like, look, this is something I can handle. This is something I can't handle. This is something that I can't handle right now, but as moving forward, I may be able to handle this. Um, uh, your self love.
Oh, it's a big one.
I would also say is something that needs to be checked because, as the scriptures say, love thy neighbor as thyself, in which we know that means that it is going to be a equal amount on both sides. So the amount that you love yourself is going to be the amount that you give to other people. So if you haven't checked within yourself and love yourself for who you are completely, holistically, so your flaws, your skills, your mistakes, and truly love yourself despite all of those things, then you are then going to be able to love somebody else. So I yield there. Oh, that's
All right. I'm back, y'all. Hopefully I'm back. This is
Woohoo! Yeah, we back.
let me just try to go before I do it again. I don't know what's going on. So we got Gabera Gabby says, making sure you are healed from the previous relationship. Check yourself about the part that you played. Making stand on boundaries. Don't bend on boundaries, then get upset with the individual when they take advantage of crossing boundaries. I love it. I don't love when that happens to someone, but I
oh,
love the fact that I had to make sure because I knew you was ready to say something right there. But I love that perspective of grabbing this question and going in the direction that y'all went. I love the answer that she brought forth too, and that's important. Making sure that you um, stand on your boundaries, create boundaries. I heard you all was talking as I was trying to get this situated, having things before you go into it. Where I was going with this question, right? This is a perfect example of how we got the scriptures, and there's so many different perspectives of the scripture. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't really talk to the person unless you go into the. That's another topic. So, what are some of the most important things that need to be checked within before even attempting to go without? So, what is that without? I'm talking about you're with your Isha, with your Ish. You're with your friend. You're with your business partner, with your associate, and you all have these things that might be happening and placing the blame there, right? But what are the most important things you should focus on within before you can even be without that individual? It's a lot of breakups. It's a lot of people just leaving just because it's more Daoud said earlier when he was saying like, okay, well, what was the first question? I gotta look at my own question. The endurance part, like what is it something little that you're not having endurance on and you leaving the whole thing, right? So you check yourself within. What are the most important things? Not the general things everyone talks about. What are some of the most important things? I think one of the most important things, and y'all didn't ask me, but I'm gonna tell you, is something that Mora Kaelia brought out, and I think somebody else said, but I was gone. That ketubah, right? Or what I might say, that covenant contractual agreement, them things that's put in place. Most of us get into situations and don't notice I said situations and don't have something in place to go off of with accountability present. And a lot of times it's due to us being ignorant. which is weird because we're not ignorant on business things. We're not ignorant on making sure it's self-sabotaging itself because we remove the focus and the structure when it comes to relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm going elsewhere. So that's what that's what this question was. What are some of the most important things that need to be checked within before you can before even attempting to go without whatever you're within? Sorry for all the wordplay.
It was it was nice to give about an 8.
God, I was gonna say to kind of land back off of really what everybody's been saying. But my two things were, I guess they were kind of general, but authenticity and accountability. Because if you are not being authentic, it has so many different levels. Because if you're not being authentic, then you don't really know how to love yourself. You don't really know how to express to the other person what it is that you need and require. You're not going to be effectively communicating with that person as to what you do expect or as to what you do need. And then if you're not being held accountable, if you're not holding yourself accountable, rather, then of course it's just going to be the blame game. And if you are not able to hold yourself accountable, you're not going to accurately be able to establish the actual severity of the situation. It may seem more severe in that case than it actually is because you have not accepted your part to play. You have not accepted the role that you have played or what you can and cannot change to make the situation better for the both of you. So in that sense, or however many members are of the party, right? Because it could be a group of friends, it could be whatever. But at the end of the day, if the people within that group are not being authentic, meaning they are not expressing what it is that they need, what their desires are, what their thoughts are, what their requirements are, and then if they are not holding themselves accountable, seeing what they can fix, releasing pride, that's part of it, relinquishing the pride, being honest with yourself and seeing where it is you can either improve or what you can do, what roles that you played in order to make the situation what it was and how you can better the situation. So I yield.
Hallelujah.
Is the grass greener? Yeah, I spoke before I unmuted myself. Is the grass greener on the other side? All of this is connected, y'all. Y'all remember that TV show, The Manifest? All of it is connected.
Yeah.
So let's keep going. I'm so mad. I was so messed up in the first. You all was doing wonderful. I heard my Isha. She was doing a thing, but I couldn't soak in the feeling y'all was getting because I just wasn't here. So is the grass greener on the other side? Keep that. Wow, really? You just can't. We can't be serious more, Dawood. I tell you. Is the grass greener, you all? Take the time if you haven't did so. If you're new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you like, make sure that you share. Also, make sure to go back and see the rest of our topics because it's some highs and lows within it, and it's some things that can provoke thought and change in your lives if you accept it. Trust me. So you don't have to trust me. Trust most time. So what are the most important things? More Kayelia, where you at? What's the most important things that need to be checked within? Or did you already speak? Before even attempting to go without.
I think everybody has said a good thing. I'm always coming from different weird standpoints.
We need
I do that on purpose.
Yeah, we need it. We need it.
Being in this walk has taught me there is a lot of things that we need to work on when it comes to within, unfortunately. And the biggest one is contentment. A lot of us don't know what our purpose is. So we're not content where we are, what we're doing, who we're with, who we chose, our Elohim. We're just not happy in anything. So we get into these relationships and we're constantly blaming the person because it's like, you're supposed to make me happy, or no, like you need to work on yourself first. And I think that, and Gabby, I think, said it, our healing. A lot of us don't take our healing into consideration, especially when we go into relationships. And I'm not talking just marriage. I'm also talking about that relationship with your children, because that's also a relationship too. If you're unhealed, you are also hurting them. So now every relationship they go in, they are now repeating that. So I know when we had a conversation last time, we were talking about generational curses. All of that is being passed down because of what you did not do within. So I think that ultimately this question is good, because we do need to really sit and think, are we content with where we are in life? Is this where we want it to be? Are we being pleasing to the Most High? Um, just kind of checking ourselves. Another one is communication. We really suck at that. So even if I am content, I may be with a person, thank y'all that I'm not, but I may be with a person that sucks at communication. And we may be fighting because of the lack of understanding, and not necessarily because we're not happy. The faces. Because we're not happy, but
We're talking about
because
the same person. No, I'm playing. I'm kidding.
It depends on the severity of the relationship. I don't really like you. I have to love my Isha. It's different. It's just different levels and different devils. It's a whole lot of stuff. Whole lot of stuff. But go ahead, baby.
they are so lying.
He interrupted
These
you.
two.
Don't let him interrupt you like that. I got it. Don't worry about him. I'm just
Oh
kidding.
my goodness. I'm done.
I'm so see. You see how you
You know,
interrupted her flow?
I'm sorry. I didn't interrupt her. I'm look. She always bringing fire, right? Everyone here is always bringing fire, and I'm loving it. Let's see if this works this time. She brought out some points too. I may go into my little notes that I might want to read, or I might save it for the end, because all this is connected. But let's see if I can share this screen finally. If I can't do it this time, then it ain't meant, y'all. It ain't meant. Let's try it one more time. Let me know if y'all see it. Y'all see it?
We see it.
I'm just gonna press the button and it better act right. Here we go.
The married ones are thinking of divorce, while the unmarried ones wish to be
Awesome.
married. The unknown crave fame, while the famous just want privacy. The married ones are thinking of divorce, while the unmarried ones wish to be married.
I had to play that again, y'all. Matter of fact, I'm gonna rewind it again just so y'all can hear what he said, because this is happening outside of the truth, the so-called black communities, and inside of the truth. And we just not being honest. But let's go ahead and rewind it, and we're gonna press play again. But here we go.
The married ones are thinking of divorce, while the unmarried ones wish to be married. The unknown crave fame, while the famous just want privacy. The young want to grow old, while the old wish they could turn back time. The poor want to become rich, and the rich spend their nights wishing for the peace they lost chasing wealth. You see, the grass always seems greener, but nothing grows without watering what's already yours.
Ain't that what you said, boy, Zakaria? What happened? What's she at? Let me go back.
Yeah,
All right, here we go. Let's press play.
that's what I said.
All right, here we go.
The truth is, no one has it all, but everyone has enough.
Ain't that what you said, Marakia? Something like that.
Being content.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Yes.
Here we go. Let's press play. You see how the Most High work is like, y'all didn't even know I was bringing this up, and everyone was saying something, I believe, what this video is on. Let's keep going.
If only they stopped and took a moment to see it. The married.
Ah, yeah, that's it. That's it. I wanted to bring that part out, and then what I want to do. Hopefully, I'm okay. I'm good right now. I want to bring something out really quickly. Okay. And what I have, if I could find it, because we're talking about a couple things, and I think it's important to bring this out. Because everything we got to bring the scripture out. Because I know it's going to be some people watching this. Black man, they ain't even talking about no scripture. We are the people of the book. The scripture was dealing with matters, showing us how to operate within these matters. And the topics and the conversation that we have today is based off the principle of our literature to show us how to deal with these matters. Most of us that's on this path and this walk, women and men alike, are still suffering within relationships and read the same book that we claiming. Why y'all not talking about the book? So we, as individuals who truly love and serve the Most High, we have to bring a way out that you can relate to more, because apparently we ain't relating to the book properly. So, but I'm gonna bring some scripture out. All right, so I got the grass. The topic is the grass greener on the other side? And it seems like, this is me talking, right? It seems like this has always been the case with us. We desired for a king, right? The Israelites demanded a king to be like all the other nations, right? Grass is green on the other side. Despite warnings from the prophet Shemuel about the negative consequences of having a king, we still wanted it. We thought that grass was better than the grass that the Most High was giving us, right? Worshiping other foreign deities, adopting of pagan practices, still doing that today. Mingling with other nations, still doing that today. But I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna stop there real quick. We're gonna still touch on this, and let's keep going. Did everyone answer the second question at all? I don't think everyone answered.
Yes, Kane. We
The
did.
second question, everybody?
Nasika didn't.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well,
It's still you. You ready?
as usual.
She is it. Let me be quiet. Let me be quiet.
No, but why was I literally
Hello,
just grabbing for my chip, thinking the same thing? Like, y'all know I'm gonna eat though. Like, y'all already do.
I'm sorry, I was looking at two things before this, of course, that go with what we're talking about. I think everybody touched on it. Patience, some level of maturity, morality. And then as you all were talking about, just being in tune with yourself. I know that may sound like, the monk type of talking, but being in tune with yourself, even if you have a goal, being content where you are, because you have to build up. If you're not content where you are and you desire to build up, you'll only be building up because you want to get to an unrealistic place that you'll probably never get. Because if you're never content, you're always going to want more. And that's honestly something that happens with people that accumulate a lot of money. They'll get to the place where they'll get amount. They're like, okay, well, I can get more than this. I'll get more. And they're never satisfied. That is a real thing. And I just believe that, like, you could be in a place, right, where you don't have a car, but you're working towards a car, but you're content where you're at. And you're like, when I get this is what I'm going to do. You could be at a place where you don't have a job, but you're like, when I get this job, this is what I'm going to do. Being content with yourself, having realistic goals, because all of that becomes seen and felt when you have a relationship, whether it's a friendship, but more specifically a marriage or a relationship. Realistically, that's where those things are felt, unless your friend is your roommate. Now, if your friend is a roommate, a lot of these things apply more so, because that person is with you every other day, every other night, and then there are shared responsibilities. So I believe a lot of these questions are great, but I believe that a lot of people can only apply them if they're in that person's face every other day or every other night, because it becomes something like I used to say, the commandments can't be fulfilled if you're a loner. You have no responsibility. You're going to love yourself. You have to love your neighbor as you love yourself. The commandments are centered around a community. So if you're by yourself, you're taking the easy way out. So I believe that being content with yourself, being someone who has standards but easy to get along with. I was always taught that your attitude will determine your altitude. And if you're somebody who can't get along with people, oh, trust us, word is gonna spread. Word is gonna spread, and that's not gonna be a good look on your how you get along with people, and it's just not gonna be it's not gonna be productive. So I believe the attitude is a major thing as a hate.
Oh yeah.
All right. I guess that concludes the second one. We're going through these. So let me answer. I want to answer. I don't know if I answered the first or second one, just so I can put some more time on the board for you. I want to go with the first one first for myself, right? So, does having endurance in a relationship, marriage, friendship, associate, mean remaining, even if the responsibilities required to hold that position in your life aren't being met? I'm going to say yes. If you are someone that call yourself B'nai Yisrael, or someone who call yourself a Christian that serves the Most High, or whatever, whoever's listening right now and have a relationship with the Most High, then your endurance is supposed to remain. We have certain extremities or severities, people say, that will allow you to, but that is very uncommon. So for the most part, if you are someone, your responsibility is to endure no matter what. If you are a CEO of a company, your responsibility is to endure no matter what. Now, granted, you can fire people and all that other stuff.
Okay.
You was waiting for me to say that. You can fire people and things of that nature, but they have to be fired according to the rules that was in place before they got hired. They have to be fired according to the rules that was in place before you brought people on, unless you're a wicked CEO or boss. True. So that's the same thing with marriage. That's the same thing with friendship. A lot of us say, oh man, that's my Ak. People don't understand why I don't even call everybody Ak. And if you are watching this and I don't call you Ak, do not take, don't be upset. Because I still love you, still want to build with you, still want to do what we're both supposed to be doing from the Most High. It is no disrespect. But if we really understand our literature, they didn't just call man, that's another topic. Because people got a lot of differences in that subject that I have. But we have to have a covenant with that individual or with those people.
Amen.
It's a certain, you could have respect and love individuals, but it's still something in place. So let me get back so I won't seem like I'm going off. This endurance is required when you make a covenant, a real covenant, a true covenant. Let me say that again, a real covenant, a true covenant, because there's a lot of people in our community that's not making real covenants, true covenants. When you don't have
married today and then they divorce next week, you talking about them?
Yes.
I'll make sure that we.
Yeah, we on the same. So it's no. This is not a shot to anyone. This is just, if you haven't been doing this is us trying to provoke thought. Make a real one. Hold yourself accountable. Make sure that you say, I'm in this no matter what, unless it goes against what we have as our body rulership, which is our instructions, right? Maybe that didn't make sense for some. So I answered that question. That's my question. Yes, you got to stay within, regardless of how you feel. It has to be according to what you know is allowing you to remove yourself. Okay, let's go to the second one. What are some of the most important things that need to be checked within before even attempting to go without, meaning like removing yourself from whatever you're a part of? Because if you remove yourself, then you're without that. I believe that strong character, strong integrity, and strong accountability. Accountability can be within, because you have to have accountability within yourself, especially in this time, because you have nothing that is truly holding you accountable. No elders today is really holding you accountable. I'm going to say that again. No elders today. And what I mean by that is you might have great righteous elders before you, but they can't hold you accountable. It's nothing that they can hold you accountable for. They can't kick you out of nothing. They can't stone you. They can't take your possessions or anything like that. what we was able to do in our day as Bnei Israel. We can't really do that today. So the most important thing that needs to be checked within you is to be able to hold yourself accountability without being held accountable. Being able to hold yourself accountable without being held accountable by somebody outside of you. Build
you
that
should
in.
be able to.
Go ahead.
But you should be able to hold other people accountable. I mean, it's what you just said is a reason why the community is the way that it is, because we don't think that we can hold each other accountable.
No,
If we really
miss something I said then. That means you missed something I said. I'm explaining it one more time. I'm saying that because I teach we're supposed to have elders. I teach that we're supposed to be able to have somebody to hold us accountable. But the reality is that's not happening today because no covenant is being made from those that are elders and those that are not elders. A covenant being made to where, hey, I am over you. I can do this to you. But people don't like that part that I'm saying. And if they don't like that part that I'm saying, that means they have no true accountability that could be placed on them. Like if you at work, you can't talk to your supervisor or manager any type of way because you'll get fired. But when we're not dealing with work, you're just another person on the street to them, even if you respect them in some capacity, until the pressure is on, and until now this person is trying to tell you what to do. Right? So it's no covenants being made within men. So the women that's having these things being done to them is having these things being done to them because the men that's doing it to them have no man over them that can get in a no, you're gonna say pause. That can get on them. That's still a pause for you.
pause.
We just go. You know what I'm trying to say, man.
Let's fast forward.
So what I'm saying is, I'm with you 100%. I'm with you 100%. The problem is, it's not going to happen until we have men that can hold themselves accountable first. If they hold themselves accountable first, then they're more willing to let somebody else hold them accountable. That's the part. Maybe I worded it better for you. My bad.
Yeah, I love words, but you did well. You did well. Okay, it's no, go ahead, I guess.
No, go ahead. Please bring out what you was gonna say.
Because I want to get to the video that you played. Is we have I think the society as a whole, we have ADHD, and we can't sit still long enough to really be present, right? When I first came into the walk, it was a Amore who always spoke about being present and not thinking or using your imagination to think about the future, not to dwell on the past, but to know where you are and to understand where you're trying to get to, which also goes to what my Isha was speaking on, or Isha was speaking on, in terms of purpose. Most of us are moving here and there, and we're jumping from bed to bed. Some people are jumping from bed to bed, or friendships be, here they got brother and they my sister. Next week they gone, so on and so forth, because they really don't have a purpose of where they're trying to go. And because you don't have a purpose, you can't be present in kind of what Nasika spoke about, being present and then having a straight line to where you're trying to go. What you say, Big T? That's why I called no supervisor my boss. See, Big T, I knew you.
That's an example of ADHD right there.
Well, no, because I saw it, but no. That's it's just, and to your point, Adon, the aspect of just not wanting to be held accountable. That's also because we don't really know where we're going to be at. So if I enter a covenant with you, I don't really, not us individually. So let's say somebody enters a covenant with somebody else. They don't necessarily think that covenant is going to last, or that relationship is going to last. So they just don't enter into the covenant, because I'm not really thinking I'm going to be with you for years and years and years on years. I'm thinking it's going to be very momentary because once again, we have ADHD. We're always somewhere else. Zehu, are you?
Man, you said something, man. I was on a call with Chief Prince Zabulin, and he read a post, and I hope I could quote it right. He read a post that he posted in like 2015, and he said something along the lines of, we was talking about the Sanhedrin, the same thing that you came to me about, and I was like, man, I appreciate what you trying to do, more Dawood, but I'm telling you, it ain't gonna work. And he was like, I don't. You can't be like that. I don't. You know, blah blah blah. And then lo and behold, that wisdom came in. I'll play it with you. But it was just more so, because we had that fire. He had that fire too. Like he got a whole thing written out so cold for how we can do things as I've been Israel ridiculous. But he said something about, man, I wish he was here. We'll get to that. Maybe it'll pop up for me in a minute. Anybody else have anything to say? And while y'all talking, I may try to get him to send me that so I can quote what he said. Anybody else have anything on this second one? That was my thoughts on the first and the second one. For those that tune in, if you haven't, please make sure that you subscribe right now. Make sure that you subscribe, and then make sure that you share when you got time, or share it now, and make sure that you like. All right. Any thoughts, anybody?
Go ahead, Nasika. I'll go after you.
I said I'll be not too fast, but fast. Speaking of all of this, I was looking. I might have seen my screen get brighter, but I was looking at something concerning the ketubah, and just listening to everyone talking about the lack of accountability, the lack of endurance within our walk, or people that are in relationships or friendships. And I don't even think we have a full grasp of what a ketubah is. And even in this walk, I feel like if a lot more things are written down, not by one person, but by both people, to show what is expected on both sides, you literally are doing it for the intentions to stay together, but you're also building up a case. And unfortunately, when there are a lot of splits, whether in this walk or outside, you don't have much of a case of, well, what was said, what was supposed to be done, this or that. You only have he say, she say. And a lot of what I'm looking at with ketubah and things like that for our people, if we wrote down the expectations from both parties, when there's a split, it would basically make, in my opinion, it would make the split for people. It would keep if you're in the right, it would keep your reputation right. If you're in the wrong, it would also allow others to, if they can't physically remove you from a place, they can see your track record. And I think that's what's important. I think that's what gets our people in a lot of trouble. This is business partners, relationships, and everything. Well, why doesn't this person work with you? Because this always happens, and that you have a track record of messing over people. I just think that, especially looking back in our culture, our people were scribes. We wrote a lot of stuff down. And I just think we got to get back to that. We were actually talking about that with Chief Prince Zabulon, that we've gone away from our roots. And I think that we're only cherry picking what parts of our culture we want to so zealously grab onto. But the most important parts are what's causing us to, like these conversations, not really have a system, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of work within, and a lot of things that we just need to revamp to make sure that we as a people are functioning in order. Definitely.
All right. I do want to say, I think that tradition is important. I think that modifying tradition is nothing wrong with that, especially if it's beneficial, like Maisha said, for both. But I wouldn't be me if I didn't say this part. When you look into our history, the ketubah was traditionally written by the men. When you look into our history, the ketubah was traditionally written by the men. The wives didn't really have a play in that, in writing the ketubah. But what I do say need to happen in regards to what my Isha is bringing out is if you are having an instance to where you are about to depart, I believe that both parties need to write down what transpired contextually and also what transpired individually and from their perspective, so that as she was bringing out, it would be a track record, an understanding of what took place. And I put contextually for a reason, because we do understand the psyche as it comes to both man and woman sometimes, of how we present things and things of that nature. So that stuff is indeed needed. But I did want to put that out there, because anybody try to fact check and try to come behind my home, I gotta let y'all know we know. All right. Is there any thoughts? Any thoughts to that? Any added things you all want to say, what my Isha said, or I said, or before we go forward?
I did have something. Oh, sorry. Was somebody else talking? Sorry.
No, it's on you.
Okay. Thanks. So I was thinking, like, as we were speaking about like the accountability factor, and it brought me back to what More Kayelia was saying, and about how you cannot express love towards somebody if you do not have that level of self-love yourself. Then my mind kind of went on in relation to that, about the accountability factor and why people don't want accountability. So it seemed to me that there were like two opposite ends of the spectrum when I was thinking about it, because there is a section of people who do not want accountability because they have ill intentions and they want to take advantage of people. And then there is a section of people who do not want people over them, or let me not say not want accountability. Let me rewind. Who do not want people over them, or who may be fearful to have people over them. One is because they want to take advantage of people and they have ill intentions. The other is they have done so before, and the people who want to take advantage and have ill intentions have been over them, and now they are scorned, they are hurt, they are scared, they are worried. So I guess I had a question. How do we rectify that? How do we then find the balance in between those who are seeking to be under people but are fearful because they have been taken advantage of so much? And then how do we hold those accountable who don't want to be held accountable? How do we do that as a nation?
Before you go, more Dawood, I want you to go, but I want to make sure I say this, because I don't want no clips being said from what I brought out too. I do understand that when the ketubah was brought forth, I'm going back to that. I don't want no clips. The ketubah is written, right? But it has the Isha, or the wife that's to be, does have a say of agreement in it or not. Okay, I want to put that out there. Think of Rebecca and when Eleazar was coming and bringing forth whatever. It had to be an agreement with Rebecca and even the family present. So the ketubah is written, but the presentation is brought. So she does have a say if she wants to do it, yay or nay. So I want to bring that out there for all my scholars out there. Go ahead, Mordo.
Okay. And just another note on that, the ketubah is written mostly for the protection of that woman. So it's not written by her, but it's written for her for the most part, definitely. So no clips, but you can actually make clips. It'll be great promotion anyway. To answer Mora Zakaria's question, the goal of the job and responsibility of a shepherd, if you may, is to heal that which is broken in his sheep. So let's say somebody is broken and they're camp hurt, church hurt, whatever you want to call it, and now they come into Nasik Shema's assembly. I was going to bother him right quick. So now it is his job to get to know you and to get to know your background, to understand that you were hurt with whatever happened, so on and so forth, and now to bring you back to full health, bring you back to trusting that Yah has brought you now to a place where you can be fed, where you can be led, and it is by somebody who Yah said is after his own heart. So that's one side of it. And that's whether it's in camps, that's in a relationship, in brotherhood, sisterhood, so on and so forth. The job of the one who is to lead is to make sure that whoever he's leading is in a position where they can be led and they can grow and flourish in that role. Secondly, as far as those who do need to be held accountable for their actions or whatever, that's you bring it to them, and then if they're not willing to change or to rectify or whatever, you need to find out first and foremost why they can or cannot do that, or why they aren't willing to do that, and then you go from there. Everything is not as cut and dry. We know we held court, we had judges, we had people who did investigations. So it's our job as those who want change to investigate why there hasn't been change and then rectify those situations based on the instructions that we were given. So that's how I would answer those questions.
Hallelujah.
And his answer was Muslim. His answer was Muslim. I don't have anything against it at all. In addition to it, it's a remnant of a remnant. It's just hard. It really is. Again, I have nothing. He's Muslim answer. In reality, too, it's really just hard. It's hard for the individual that, like, say, they want to be in a relationship. I think we were talking about relationship. They want to be in a relationship as one of the components before finding the leader. It's like, okay, are you, who said it earlier, content right now? So Amal Ishai said content. I think Mark Kayelia said content, to where you can sit still, be silent. Don't be so quick to move and in a hurry to find somebody. Don't find somebody as soon as you see them and they speaking good with knowledge and having this scholarly ways. And so people get manipulated and sucked into that direction. Now you're falling back into the same space that you was in. So I think that what he said is ideal, and I think it needs to be walked out. The question is, are you, those that's listening, if you are in that situation, are you willing to walk that out, as he's saying?
And I was speaking more of in like I guess like an assembly type situation, like having leadership over you, but that it does work in like relationships and everything too. I didn't even think about that. So
but even if we go right back into the leadership, that's why I said the last thing I said was being captivated by how they speak, how they teach. That's a leader over people that they teaching, right? So now you captivated and you going in that direction just because of that. But now you got to see how the person moves. How consistent are they? How are they after they teach? How are they with the individuals? Do they, it's, you got to go deeper, and you got to, as he has said, the shepherd's supposed to do, you have to investigate too, because you wasn't brought up in this path. We read in this book, we read in our literature, and not realizing that those individuals knew each other for a while. They knew families. It was family oriented. It was tribal oriented. We're not that. We are that, but we're trying to get back into that. So we got to move a little more cautious than they did. And even they had to move cautious. Do you know what Eleazar had to do? This man prayed. Did we talk about this? I did this in the class when I was teaching the high schoolers. That man prayed for the exact, matter of fact, learn from Eleazar. That's the answer right there. That man prayed and he put all that stuff out, what had to happen before he knew to go forward and pick Rebecca. Make sure everything you pray for happens. Now, that might sound a little extreme for some people, but
it's like confirmation.
Yeah, confirmation. But when doing that, make sure you're walking a certain way too. Because Eleazar wasn't just praying and it happened. He was walking through the instruction that was given to him and how his cultural way of living was under Abraham. So with that, that's your answer. I think that's not better than yours, more Daoud, but it's a great example that we can see and read. It's a great example that we could see and read. And with that, I yield. Anyone else?
Okay, and if I could tie that into the title of is the grass green on the other side? I think that people, well, I know that people come into this way of life and think that the things that Zakaria was speaking on, or the things that you're speaking on, the things that Segula or Nasika was speaking on, don't or are not supposed to happen on this side. That there aren't supposed to be wicked leaders here, or that you aren't supposed to go to a camp and then they misuse and abuse you, or that children aren't supposed to be, taking advantage. So everything that is happening within this community, quote unquote, is happening. Is happening, and I think that people came over here from Christianity, or they came from Islam, or they came from wherever they came from, and they thought that it was just all rainbows and pots of gold over here because you finally figured out who you were as far as identity, but not understanding the book that the book which we read tells you that all those things went on within this community. So I think a lot of grass green on the other side comes from being delusional when it comes to this walk, being delusional when it comes to relationships, being delusional when it comes to friendships. We are a delulu type people. We try to make our fantasies reality when that's just not how it works sometimes. Now, there are some things that the Most High can manifest for you, but even with the prayer aspect, it's like, well, some people are praying prayers based off of their delusions. So then when it doesn't happen and the Most High gives you what you need instead of what you want, then you and your delusional mindset think that the Most High didn't answer you, when in all actuality, he did answer you. And he's taking you on a path that you need to go, but you want to follow your own path because you think it's greener in your mind than it is with the Most High. I yield it on.
Mic drop. Mic drop. Yes, that is what I thought when I first started this walk. Man, I think that is what most people think, because we're so high on, oh my goodness, I knew this was it. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'm going coming, but then we forget, as he just brought out. Wait a minute, we are reading the Bible. People say the Bible. I'm gonna say it because most of the people that's watching us say the word Bible. We are reading this, but we're thinking more so of, okay, man, we're closer to the Most High. We know how to say his name. Oh man, now I know I'm keeping the commandments now, according to what I believe I'm keeping it the proper way. Now this is going to be wonderful. But then we're forgetting all the wickedness, all the disappointment that we gave the Most High and the people. All the disappointment. We forget the whole purpose of the prophets. The prophets came to the leaders. The prophets came to the leaders. And we think that the leaders won't be wicked. We think that the elders won't be wicked. I'm not talking about great elders, righteous leaders. I am not. So if you're an elder or leader watching this, those that know me know that the first thing I do when I teach a lesson, I say I'm standing on the elders before me. So it's never a shot to them. But I'm still going to come in the capacity as, I'm not saying that's what I am, but as the teachers and the prophets then did, they came to the leaders and the elders first, because you come to the people, you still got to mess with the leaders who are over the people that's controlling the things. So back to you, Gabera Gabby. Yes, for more, she said, Ecclesiastes 1:18, for in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increases knowledge increaseth sorrow. Okay. Toda Rabah. We want to go ahead with the third one if no one has anything else. Ishti. All right. Here we go. Last one, you all. Last topic of this evening. Wait, before we go to the topic, if you haven't did it yet, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you share, make sure that you like, hit that reminder button so when we go live, you know we are live because we're going to be bringing these topics out. And please don't just be watching and listening with not the intent to change your life in whatever area we're speaking of that can change it, you all. This is just not a platform just to talk. We're not just wanting to talk. We want to change ourselves on things that we may be, what more Daoud might be saying. I may want to change. Or my Isha might be saying, I live with her. I might want to change. More Zakaria, more Kayelia, so we are coming together as individuals that's pressing and being righteous, right? To hold each other accountable with the things that we are presenting to ourselves and the people. And the reason I said I live with her because, me and her talk about these things all the time. So here we go, you all. Last one. Is the grass that we thought greener often picked because it is less structure and accountability? If not, what might it be if y'all disagree with what I'm asking? Is the grass that we thought greener often picked or chosen to go to because it is less structure and accountability?
I don't know where Segula went. Oh, okay. Zakaria, not seeking. Y'all going? No.
I think I'm gonna start writing these questions, man. I feel like I don't know.
Nah. I'll go. Oh, since y'all just going. All right, yeah. It's the grass that we thought greener often picked because it's like structure and accountability. I don't think so. Shalom, big up, Moriatai. I don't think so. I think it's because of desires, right? Because when you're talking about the grass being green on the other side, once again, it depends on in what arena are you talking about. If it's in a relationship, the relationship that you're seeking might have more structure. It might make you more accountable. You might be looking for that, and somebody may present it, but when you get over there, it's really not what you thought it was going to be. So I think the grass being greener always is for it to be greener means it is your perception. So whatever you are looking for, that's what it looks like over there. So that's why you're going over there. So I don't think it has to do with less structure and accountability. If you're talking about a connection, possibly. You're talking about, a job, possibly. But in certain areas, I believe is money, notoriety, fame, which is notoriety. Is plenty of reasons. So I'll yield there and let the Akio and my love go. I yield.
Appreciate that. Love that insight. And just to see, I'm gonna bring that back up to you. So I think it's picked because it's watered by someone else. That was interesting. So it looks appealing to the eyes, which are never full. Okay. Anyone else? Any thoughts on this question or comments on the last comment shared?
I'm just laying back off of Moy Dawood and just 2 C's and 2 E's. There was I think there was this video that I had watched a while ago, and it was with this couple. It was with the wife, and she was talking about there was a couple that her and her husband admired a whole lot, and she said she envied that couple. She said she felt like their relationship wasn't the goals, I would say. There you go. Good to see them. The goals. And so it turned out that the couple that they envied and loved so much ended up divorcing. And it came out that the couple really couldn't stand each other. And they just couldn't work things out. And she said that it taught her a lesson not to just look and envy things for what it appears to be. And I think it was even people that came to her and told her, and even her husband had told her, well, their relationship was different. And she said it took that relationship failing to see after she had heard. I didn't go into or hear all the things that transpired with the couple that didn't make it. But when she heard those things, she was like, oh, she had to look back at her own relationship with her husband and see that all dynamics are not the same. But if it's working for you, then keep going, because you don't know who's looking at your relationship and envying the same thing. And it's just a chain reaction of envying, and we're not focusing on, like the other question said, the within. We're so focused on either trying to put up a facade for people to be like, oh, that's the go-to couple, or we're too busy envying someone else. And that goes into, again, never being satisfied or content. And just to speak on that, it's all about the watering process. It's about the watering process. So that's what I got out of that. Definitely.
Man, I tell you about my Isha. I'm gonna have to start calling her Isha Gedula. Gotta start calling you Isha Gedula. Anybody else? Anyone else have anything? Let me bring it back up for those that, man, that was, boy, I tell you. Let me go over there, get her a hug or something. Who's next?
I'll go. I don't think it has anything to do with less structure or accountability. My biggest thing is what you make a relationship. I think that a lot of times when we're looking at other people's relationship, we take our own responsibility and I like to say our molding process, because your marriage literally is what you mold it to be. So just like that grass that they decided to water, they decided to cut the grass, that means they're maintaining something. And I think that when you're looking at how someone else is maintaining something, you have already dropped the ball on maintaining what you have. There was one scripture that kind of stood out to me, and it was actually two. Proverbs 12:11, it says, those who work their land will have abundant food, but those who chase fantasies has no sense. And then Proverbs 14:12 says, there is a way that appears to be right, but in the end, it leads to death. So those two are my favorite, especially when you brought up this topic, because it's like, we're thinking about someone else's grass. And I remember I was telling my husband, I'm like, yeah, their grass, it could be fake. You get over there and it's fake as hell. Excuse my French. You know what I mean? It's like, you thought it was all pretty, but it's fake. So there's no maintenance over there because they just put it down, compared to you're in this wonderful marriage and now you done hopped over the fence into a cardboard, which makes no sense because you had everything. You know what I mean? So it's sometimes kind of Nastika said it, it's our perspective. How are you looking at this situation? And for me, it's kind of like, if you chose this marriage, your perspective should be for that covenant that you chose. So your whole idea, your whole purpose, everything should be focused on what this is going to look like for you. That you don't even have time to be looking at somebody else's marriage, because you have created your own desire, your own fantasy, or whatever you want to call it. I like to say, especially like, because I am married, it's like, this is what I've created for myself. This is what we have. We're going to enjoy it. We're going to tend to it. We're going to endure, because this is what the Most High has blessed. So it's my duty to make sure that everything that we're doing, it always looks better than everybody else's stuff. So it's really just our perspective and how we tend to our own stuff.
All right, now. Hey, More Daoud, are you next to your Isha?
No, she's in the other room, but it's just wonderful to hear the wisdom and the love.
Good stuff. Oh, man. All right. For those that's tuning in, if you have not, please make sure you subscribe if you have not yet to do so. Subscribe, like, share. Mora Zakaria, what's your take?
Can you put it back up? But I do want to say, as you put it back up, just so I can keep my thoughts in order. I think it's both. I think, yes, that the grass that we thought was greener is often picked because it's less structure and accountability. And yes, it is because of desires and everything that Mordecai said. And the reason why I say that is because looking at it not only from a scriptural standpoint, but from a lot of things that happen in the world, even that Mori Dawood mentioned, the fame and the notoriety and things like that. When you look at them in terms of now, even politics, people can get away with things, and they know that they can get away with things. People want to be celebrities and famous because you can get away with things. You can do things that normal people would not be caught up in. Like, it's only now that, you know, things like Diddy are coming out to light, but they've been doing this for years. The notoriety, the people with notoriety and high level of stature and standards, they've been getting away with wickedness for forever. Even when we look at it scripturally, I think a lot of people desire that because it has less structure and accountability. And although it's something that we may think righteously, it would have more structure and accountability. But the reality is, even in the times of scriptures, when we're looking at things like the Pharisees, and we're looking at how they wanted this notoriety because they could get away with certain things, they could control things, they could do things in the temple that were not kudash. We see this in Ezekiel, where he's taking him into the northern and parts of the temple and into the kudashness, the kudashim, the kudashim, or whatever, what I'm trying to say. He's taking them in there, and he's seeing them do this wickedness behind closed doors. And this has been going on for centuries and centuries and centuries. And with that being said, with a lot of these systems that are in place that we do desire, that we think the grass is greener at, there is less structure and there is less accountability, although it would not be the case if it were done righteously. If it were done righteously, then there would be more structure and there would be more accountability. But unfortunately, what we're looking at now in terms of today's world and the worldly atmosphere is that there is not structure and accountability, not a real structure and accountability. So politicians are getting bribes, they're calling hits on people. It's all sorts of craziness that's going on. And I think people want that because there's a lot of power in it, but there's also a lot of power in it, again, because it's done unrighteously. There's no real structure. There's no real accountability. Your yes men are your yes men, and they're going to go, they're going to be all for you. They're going to have your back and whatever it is. Another part that I wanted to bring up, which I thought was really, really funny. I saw this was probably like a few months ago. I saw this video, and it was this video of these gentlemen who deal in septic tanks. And if you guys don't know what a septic tank is, it's basically this corridor or this little underground hole where your stuff goes when you
poop. Yo
when
poop.
you flush the toilet.
Yo poop.
Yo poo-poo. It's the poo-poo. So they were basically, it was so funny because they were like, if you want to see where a septic tank is overflown, or where something's going wrong with the septic tank and it's no longer containing the poop properly, you're going to look for where the grass is greener. So where the grass is greener is usually full of poop. So I just thought that was really funny, and that stuck with me because that's literally what it is so many times. When we go chasing after these other things, even scripturally, our people, time after time after time, as you mentioned already, Nasik, we were chasing after these other false mighty ones and chasing after these ways and chasing after all these things. And there is less structure and less accountability. The Most High is calling us to structure and accountability, and we're running away from that and chasing other mighty ones because there's less structure and less accountability. When you think about how many people know the truth in Christianity but will not come to the truth because they don't want that structure and accountability. We do too much. We can't eat this, we got to do this, we got to wear this, we got to blah, blah, blah. To them, it's too much structure and accountability. But in the reality of it, people are chasing and have chased Christianity because if it's less, there's less structure and less accountability. You can do what you want, do as thou wilt. You can eat pork. You can do this. You can blah, 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 blah. You can go sin and do debauchery on SAT night and then come to church and everything's cool. Just ask JC for forgiveness and you're good. You don't have to actually repent. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no structure and accountability. There's no real substance there. So I think it's both. I think it's a combination of everything that has already been said as far as desires. But again, I think that we do desire that because there is not structure and accountability. So that's just my 2 cents on it. I yield. Sorry, I talked for a long time.
That's cool. You know, the time is going the way it's supposed to go. Y'all gave me a lot to be able to say because I want to answer the question too. So let me pull it back up for myself. But before I get started, I brought out that he said the grass is always green over a septic tank. That was true and hilarious at the same time. True and hilarious. Let me bring it up real quick, you all. Is a grass that we thought greener often picked because it is less structure and accountability? I'm going to say yes. I think that what my Isha brought out was freaking amazing. I think that what Mora Kayuya said was freaking amazing. They both kind of went in that same lane. And Mora Dawood brought out something. He said that, and he wasn't wrong. What I see most times when people leave something, unless it's just wicked, unless there's no structure and accountability in what they was a part of already, they're typically going out of it because it is structure and accountability. And when they go out of it, it's typically not because they're able to do what they want where they go. Most times is what I see. I can be wrong, but from what my studies have been with our people, that is the case on most ends, even when we look at it today. There was something else that was brought out about Pharisees. Hey, real quick, Mordecai, can you send that book to my Isha, please? Because you ain't read that book yet, have you? You read the book?
I am in the process. Thank you.
So this book, I got to make sure next time we come on, I got to get y'all this book that Chief Prince Zabulin wrote, and it's dealing with the New Testament. Phenomenal book, a lot of history in it, which most of us do not know. But every Pharisee wasn't bad, by the way. I know y'all didn't say that, but most people think that because everybody quote Pharisee in Christianity, in the walk, they all do that. But you got to remember, it's a remnant of a remnant. You had Sadducees, you had Ebionites, you have Essenes, you had all these other people that we don't ever mention. We only mention the Pharisees. We don't mention the Sadducees, but we mention. So it's a little thing we got to look at with that. Why is it that they pointed the Pharisees so much? Because the Pharisees was the ones who was maintaining the law. I just want to put that out there for everybody. The Pharisees was the ones who maintained. More Dawood come in at any time if I'm wrong, but they were supposed to be, right?
Okay.
They were supposed to be. And it was a small amount that were doing it right, but that's not talked about a lot because that wasn't the basis or the focus on the what was out there for us to see. Just like a lot of things is not spoken up in the Tanakh. That wasn't a major thing to speak about in the Tanakh, right? But what am I getting to? The structure and accountability, I believe, is the main reason why we believe that it's greener. We'll see a wabe. We have a good woman here, or if you do, have a good woman here, but then you want to go here because whatever reason, you might have a good man here, but then you are liking the way this man is talking and this and that, and it's just a lot of things that's messing up with our community, right? In that realm. That's why I brought this question out. So that's my answer to that is I believe it is. We think that the thought is greener is often picked because it is less structure. And I want to bring out an example for that really quick. Relationship is relationship, you all. I know it's greater for husband and wife, right? the Most High was supposed to be, as people teach, we're supposed to be married to the Most High, right? So everything that happens in that realm happens here for some reason because it's all connected, like Manifest, the TV show. So what I want to bring out really quick is, who know the story of Maccabees? Who know the Maccabee story, right? I know we got Ab on here. That's one of his favorite stories, Adam Mattathias. The Pharisees get a bad rep. There was a small portion who dealt wickedly. There was a certain section of the Pharisees, yes, a certain section. And I'm guessing he's quoting from, he might be quoting, I got to double check. But if that is the exact thing that's said, that solidifies what I'm saying. We often look at the worst things in a group and we apply that to everyone, and that isn't true. But let's bring this out. I wrote this down. For many, the temptation to adopt Hellenistic ways, the greener other side, may have seemed appealing due to the Greeks' cultural and political dominance and the potential for social advancement. We see that today with all these different, holidays and different things that we are part of today, right? It's tempting, right? The grass is greener. I could put 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And then I said, however, embracing these practices come at the cost of abandoning their cultural identity and traditions. The Maccabees, led by Judah Maccabee and his family, resisted this assimilation, opting to fight for their faith and way of life instead. You all was talking on that. Moraka and Maisha was talking on that. Their struggle highlights that what appears greener on the surface, adopting foreign customs for convenience or survival, might not align with one's value or lead to long-term fulfillment. What is our long-term fulfillment? Those that's in relationships, what's our long-term fulfillment? Those that are in brotherhood, sisterhoods, what is our long-term fulfillment? Now, granted, we have to put structure in place, and if that structure is not going in the way it should be going, then there are some parting ways that have to go sometimes. For the marriage side, it's a way different, by the way, but the concept is the same. So what's the long-term fulfillment? Do we know it? Are we keeping that at the top of our list when it comes to maintaining what it is the Most High put in place with us serving him and operating how he wants us to operate, and also us coming together as a people and as husband and wife, right? The Maccabees story illustrates the broader theme that what seems appealing from afar, whether it's assimilation, revolution, or maintaining tradition, often comes with hidden struggles. Right? The grass may not necessarily be greener, but the journey of deciding where to stand is what defines the values and identity. So I wanted to end with that, and I want you all's thoughts, and then also those that's on the panel, maybe give an example scriptural where we as a people, more that will stop. As we where we as a people did this, typically we got to go back to the past to understand why we're going through something now. And if we have that heart, that perfect heart, right, Shalem heart, then it'll cause us to understand that we need to maintain and stay where we're at, right? Even in the new, it's telling you to be perfect. I'm gonna keep saying, I'm gonna say that every couple shows. Perfect, y'all. We gotta do it. We can do it. I believe in y'all. Either way, I'm done. Does anyone else have anything to say as far as that last? He brought up the passage. But there rose up certain of the sect of the Pharisees was believed, saying that was needful to circumcise them. Yep. So it's a certain of the sect, not all Pharisees.
That we can talk about that passage later. That's that wasn't necessarily the wicked group of them. That was people who was actually trying to uphold the law of Moshe, as you read. But Yeah, that's something different. But I know we ain't gotta talk about that. But told I
Hey,
keep
no. We can talk about it because in general, was that all Pharisees that was wicked? That's a direct question on both of y'all. Was all the Pharisees
you
wicked?
can never use absolute with man.
That's all I'm
Only
saying.
time you can use absolute is with the Most High. That's it.
That's all
But
I'm saying.
but
It
yes,
still stands.
what you said stands. I'm just saying that the scripture didn't necessarily support you. But regardless of that, I keep this. Let me get off that so we don't have to go there.
We're gonna go somewhere talking about scripture now.
Always. I have no problem with that. But anyway, speaking of scripture, the reason why I say that it's about your desires, right? And I'm tying it into what you said in regards to scripture because the Levi'im or with the Levites, for those who don't know what that means, or Caleb and Joshua, they were fighting and thought that what the Most High proposed was greener, in which in this case it actually was. But what they were fighting for, kind of like what you said, that the Maccabees were fighting for, was to go to a land, literally, which was green and milk and honey, because of who was taking them there. So to me, the aspect of what you think is green, once again, is going to be based on your mindset, your perspective, and your desires. Your heart is going to determine what side you choose. And whatever side you choose is going to be the side that you think is greener, quote unquote, which means that it is better taken care of. I believe Malek Dawid said in the 23rd Psalms, right? He leads me to green pastures. So he leads me to greener grass.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, it's based off of who do you desire to follow, and who do you think is going to lead you there is a major factor in what side you choose.
Yeah. Hey, no. You can't see. We all doing the same thing right now. You went to Dawid that said he leads me to greener pastures, and then you said earlier, if I'm not mistaken,
Uh-huh.
I ain't gonna go into it. He leads, but who leading those people? Ain't the most
The
high.
desires.
Right. The desires. Right. But what are the desires to do? To not have structure and accountability. So I'm gonna stand on that because it's consistent. It's consistent. The desires is exactly a part of what we're talking about, by the way. So we're both, in my opinion, we're both saying the same thing because your desire is due to what you want to do and what you don't want to do. Can we agree on that? Your desire. So if you want to be keep the accountability or structure, you're gonna go that way. If you don't, then you're gonna go that way. So I appreciate that and I agree with that. Yeah. And this is the last thing I'm saying, and we're gonna close out after you all give y'all closing presentation. I want to encourage those. This is a good passage. Says that take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. In our culture, we spoke a certain way. We spoke a certain way for the majority. We didn't speak for the remnant. If you really go and you dig deep into our literature, and any literature that we wrote, and when it was dealing with negativity of our people, how we was operating, we spoke for the majority. We did not, and then we'll speak about ourselves when we wasn't the ones being wicked. So I want to put that out there. Do your homework for those that's tuning in. See for yourselves if you still disagree with that, I support you. I hope that the Most High bless and guard you. And with that, I yield. Anyone else have anything to close out with or say?
Shalom Lakulam. I think I try to say this every session we have. Is one of my personal goals to always strive to be better. especially within. And I think, like how Maish talks about being perfect, I think, one, I want to be the standard of perfect that the Most High is talking about, because you probably have a couple people around us now that are perfect, but we'll look at them and be like, oh, they're not perfect, but by the Most High standard, they can be perfect. And that's my thing. And I think this goes into even the topic and some of the things that we all were talking about. Somebody's perfect. Like, for example, we can look at somebody who might be in between jobs, might not have the car they want, and the Most High could be like, they're perfect. And we could look at them, they're not perfect. You know, they got things they're working on. But to the standard of their moral code, the standard of how they, which moral goes into how you treat people, how they serve the Most High, how they talk to Him, could be in the standard within perfection. And I just want us to all to strive to be that, because I believe the further we are along with that, the more we'll start to see things change for us as a people. That's what our literature showed us. The more that we are in tune with the Most High, we become in tune with one another, and then He answers those prayers, and we start to see some movement and shifting in our lives.
Anyone else?
I'll say to end out, your topic was, is the grass always greener on the other side? But I would say this: let that contrast be what causes you to always improve your side. And what I mean by that is, everyone's prone to look at something. That's cool. But let it drive you to change something within you. The whole reason that's why He said, I will leave the other nations there, because it's always a contrast. And I think that a lot of times when we're in this walk, we don't see the contrast of, oh, wow, the Most High gave us this. We also have this. He also tells us not to eat this. Look how healthy we are. We live longer. We look better. You know, it's like we're not taking it as in, oh, this is good, you know. So from your topic, I think that everybody should utilize this topic to make it a contrast within themselves. Like if I'm looking at something, I'm saying, hey, that looks greener than what I have. I want that. Don't covet it. Instead, say, how can I make that happen for me? And also ask yourself, why do you have that desire? Is it something you need, or is it just something you want? And that's kind of what I use when it comes to staying in contentment, because it's like, do I need this, or do I just want this? And if I just want this, why do I want this? What is lacking that I feel as if I want this? So it's kind of a way for you to hold yourself accountable, because it's like, why am I feeling as if I need to be coveting something else that someone else has? Is there something I'm lacking? Is there something I'm missing? And what can I do to change that? So definitely utilize that for your growth.
All right, bye. More Zakaya?
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I was going to say something similar. Just the grass is always going to be greener where the one who created the grass and the water leads you. Just like More Dawood said in Psalm 23, if you are being led by the Most High for something, the grass is always going to be the greenest. You're always going to have more than enough. I really love the scripture that Saved by Grace posted, which is Psalms 37:4. Delight thyself in Yahuwah, and He shall give you the desires of your heart. Because when you delight yourself in Him, you are then turning your desires into His desires. Delighting yourself in Him means doing as He would have you do. So your desires are then no longer your own. They are now His desires, and His desires are the ultimate benefit for us. So again, you know, if we are chasing anything green, let it be the desires of the Most High. Let Him formulate the desires within us by our obedience, by our sacrifice, by our submission unto Him. And then you're going to have all the green grass you could possibly want to feed your little lamb belly with. And that's all.
What?
We are the sheep.
And your green grass. The grass that he gave you, the other person that's looking at it and might not understand it. That's green grass. You gotta realize that the grass that the Most High, we talking about grass, what the Most High gives you, another person may not understand it. And then but you got to be content in that in which the Most High gave you, because somebody else can detour you from that, confusing you that this is not what the Most High is giving you. If you have delighted yourself, as was put right there, saved by grace, delight thyself in the Most High, give thee to the desires of, go ahead, Mordo, close out. Did you already speak? You want to close out for us?
I don't remember saying anything.
No, I'm saying, did you speak to close us out? That's what I was asking.
I was looking at the green pastures, in the aspect of the green being kind of new grass or young grass, déchet. So it's kind of like you're looking at something that's not mature, and you are desiring it because it's new. That's kind of what we do, right? With the trend, whatever's new, whatever's trendy, that's kind of what we want to jump on, right? But we don't understand what it takes to make it mature and make that grass maintain that greenness year after year, season after season, going through these cycles of life, right? So in your relationships, are you maintaining it year round, or is it just a summer house for you, a summer yard for you? Some people have houses that they only go to when the grass is good. They only go and dwell there when it's a season that they're okay with, but they won't be there year round to make sure that it's maintained. And I think that you definitely need to be on the lookout for those people that they only come around you when the season is good for you, and the grass is growing and is green for you, but they aren't around you in the winter seasons. Just be aware of those people and maintain your own grass. That's all I would say. Told our about to the Most High for allowing us to come together. Hallelujah.
And I'm going to end it by this. Chief Prince Abula sent me what he has said. And this kind of goes into what we were speaking on, right? And he said, order cannot be achieved without a Beit Din. Ironically, a Beit Din cannot be achieved without order. So those don't know a house of judgment. Like, so let's say Sanhedrin, because some of you might know what Sanhedrin is. Order cannot be achieved without a Sanhedrin, but he said Beit Din. Ironically, a Sanhedrin cannot be achieved without order. So I'm going to let that marinate, let that sink in for a minute, because we was talking about elders and accountability, and I was speaking of how the accountability cannot be done unless you hold yourself accountable. We can't get accountability with an elder unless you can hold yourself accountable first. So that's the same concept with this. Order cannot be achieved without a Beit Din, and a Beit Din cannot be achieved without order. So that order has to be in place first and understood first for that Beit Din to actually do what it's supposed to do. So a lot of our problems start within us. A lot of the stuff that taking place with Yisrael is happening due to our leaders, and we got to shift that with our leaders. So without further ado, you all, let's close out. May the Most High bless and guard you all. Yabrecha, Yahweh Yishbrechem. Shalom.
Through McAllister. to point and to blame. Better she get our houses in order and we'll see the peace. There are steps that we